Group portrait of the four brothers of William I, Prince of Orange by Wijbrand de Geest, workshop of a tribute to the heroes of the Dutch Revolt. Wijbrand de Geest, 1592–1661, was a Dutch painter who worked mainly in Leeuwarden in the first half of the 17th century. He is known for his portraits, landscapes, and historical scenes. He was influenced by the Italian and Flemish masters, especially by Peter Paul Rubens and Frans Hals. One of his most impressive and rare works is the group portrait of the four brothers of William I of Orange, also known as William the Silent, the leader of the Dutch Revolt against the Spanish rule. The painting was created around 1630, in the workshop of de Geest, by one of his assistants or pupils. The painting is an oil-on panel, measuring 114 centimeters in height, 169 centimeters in width, and 5.5 centimeters in depth. It is currently housed in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, where it has been on display since 1885. The painting depicts the four brothers of William I of Orange, who were all counts of Nassau and played an important part in the Dutch Revolt. From left to right, they are Lodewijk, 1538–74, Jan the Elder, 1536–1606, Adolf, 1540–68, and Hendrik, 1550–74. Three of them died in battle, fighting for the cause of freedom and independence. Only Jan the Elder survived and had many descendants, among them the Nassaus of Friesland. The painting shows the brothers in their military attire, with armor, sashes, and feathered hats. They also hold weapons, such as swords, pistols, and a spear. They are portrayed as noble and valiant heroes, who sacrificed their lives for their country and their faith. They are also portrayed as a close and loyal family, who supported their brother William the Silent in his struggle against the Spanish tyranny. The painting is a historical scene, a genre that depicts the events and the characters of the past. The painting also has symbolic meanings, as it represents the themes of patriotism and martyrdom, of courage and loyalty, and of family and dynasty. De Geest's painting of the four brothers of William I of Orange is a remarkable example of his style and technique, which combine the realism and the naturalism of the Dutch tradition with the elegance and the grace of the Italian and Flemish tradition. The painting demonstrates his skillful use of the oil technique, which involves applying pigments mixed with oil on a wooden panel prepared with gesso. This technique allows for a smooth and flexible application of color, creating a luminous and translucent effect. De Geest also used a broad and visible brushwork, which creates a sense of movement and spontaneity. He also used a bright and varied palette, which creates a sense of contrast and vibrancy. He also used light and shadow, which create a sense of depth and atmosphere. De Geest's painting also shows his mastery of anatomy and proportion, which he learned from studying the works of Peter Paul Rubens and Frans Hals, two of the most influential Flemish painters of his time. He used accurate and realistic depictions of the human body and the facial features, as well as harmonious and balanced compositions. He also used expressive and lively gestures and poses, as well as subtle and nuanced facial expressions. The painting was originally commissioned by Ernst Casimir, the stadholder of Friesland from 1620 to 1632, who was a descendant of Jan the Elder. The painting was probably intended to decorate the stadholder's court in Leeuwarden, where it would serve as a reminder and a tribute of the heroic deeds and the noble lineage of the Nassau family. The painting remained in the stadholder's court until the 19th century, when it was acquired by the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, where it has been on display ever since. The painting is one of the highlights of the museum's collection and one of the most admired works of de Geest. De Geest's painting of the four brothers of William I of Orange is a stunning example of his painting style and technique, which combine the realism and the naturalism of the Dutch tradition with the elegance and the grace of the Italian and Flemish tradition. The painting is also a testimony of his interpretation and representation of a historical scene, which he imbued with symbolic meanings. The painting is also a witness of the history and the culture of Europe, which is reflected in its complex and turbulent provenance. The painting is a masterpiece that deserves to be seen and appreciated by all.